From the CAL FIRE Information Center, I'm Scott McLean with the CAL FIRE report for Monday, August 27th, 2018. With the relatively milder weather across much of the state last week, firefighters were able to make strong progress on the significant wildfires that were burning across California and still are. However, even though many areas did see milder conditions, there were still over 150 new wildland fire starts in CAL FIRE's jurisdiction alone. As we can see on the stats here, 2018, look at this total again. 876,000 this year. 2017, same period of time, 228,000 plus acres. Right now with the Forest Service and CAL FIRE's wildland fire stats, we're looking at 1.2 million acres burned in this year, 2018, since January 1st. Let's zoom in now to some of the significant fires that we've been watching the firefighters are currently contending with. We'll start in Lake County. As of yesterday afternoon, the Cache Fire sparked yesterday in Clear Lake Oaks, just southeast of where firefighters are still battling the massive ranch fire. As of this morning, the Cache Fire is 120 acres and firefighters have it 30% contained as we speak. Next, we'll move on to the ranch fire that I had just mentioned, which is burning in parts of Lake, Colusa, Napa, and Glenn counties. The ranch fire is part of the Mendocino complex, along with now the 100% contained river fire. The ranch fire has increased in just over 400,000 acres due to firefighters using a tactic called firing operations to help create and strengthen those containment lines. Firing operations are when the firefighters use tools like drip torches, berry pistols, and even with our helicopters carrying the terror torches that you've seen a lot of pictures of lately, to create a buffer of burned vegetation just outside of a wildfire area so that when that fire burns up to that buffer, it no longer has anywhere to continue growing. So in other words, we're taking from that containment line, burning that fuel out ahead of the fire so it has nowhere to go. Firing operations are just one of the many tools that firefighters are using on the ranch fire, which is currently at 67% contained as of this morning. I want to read you a couple stats here real quick. The Mendocino complex has now burned, as of this morning, we just got the stats, 451,388 acres. The largest fire prior to the Mendocino complex, the Martin Fire in Nevada, burned a total of 435,569 acres. So to date, in 2018, the Mendocino complex is the largest fire in the United States to date. Hopefully that will be the last one. Moving on to Shasta and Trinity counties, where firefighters have been battling the Carr Fire since July 23rd. The Carr Fire is just over 229,000 acres and is 96% contained. You've noticed that the containment number has been climbing slowly over the past week or so, but that's due to the extremely rugged terrain that the firefighters are having to deal with that the fire is burning in, which is making access extremely difficult still to secure the remaining containment lines and to strengthen them. However, firefighters continue to work diligently, as they do, to get the Carr Fire fully contained. Now keep in mind, once we contain a fire, those resources will be on that fire area doing what we call mop-up and patrol for several months to come. And finally, an update on the Holly Fire in Orange County that the U.S. Forest Service has been battling in Holly Gym Canyon. According to the U.S. Forest Service, the Holly Fire was 100% contained on August 24th at 22,986 acres. However, today a flare-up jumped the containment line and that slop over has grown to 40 acres and is causing visible smoke throughout the area. However, no structures are currently threatened. You can get the latest on the Holly Fire by visiting the Cleveland National Forest Facebook page at facebook.com/ClevelandNF. And that brings up a good point. When we get these lines around these fires, it happened on the Pawnee Fire as well earlier this year when it was 73% contained and the fire broke across those containment lines as well. Containment is one thing. It is not totally controlled. So we have different islands within those fires that continue to burn. So that is the reason that resources stay on these larger fires for several months to come to make sure everything stays where it needs to be. Switching over to our weather headlines for the upcoming week, we're expecting to see last week's trend of somewhat lower temperatures and higher humidities continue into this week. But remember, this is all relative to the many weeks of triple-digit temps and single-digit humidities that we all saw throughout the summer, starting way before June. And this doesn't mean that the fire danger doesn't still exist. It does still exist. So we need to continue to be careful. In fact, in the mountain ridges and desert passes of Southern California and in northern and eastern parts of the state, we're forecast to see high, gusty winds upward of 35 miles per hour for the next several days, as you can see in these areas here, and especially down below in San Diego area. New fires in those areas could spread rapidly because the vegetation is still extremely dry, and those winds are just going to promote those fires that much more. So it is so important to have a plan and to be ready to go at a moment's notice. Please evacuate if you're told to do so. If you haven't been told to evacuate yet, but feel like you might be in danger, review your evacuation plan checklist and get prepared, which you should already be. Make sure your emergency supply kit is loaded in your vehicle, and then go early. It's advisable to go early. Leaving early will help you avoid traffic congestion during an evacuation and will help keep the roads clear. So that the emergency responders can move easily and get in to defend your community. Make sure that you have a plan now so that when the time comes to evacuate, you are ready to go. We've said this for several weeks, if not several months.